Hello, preschool friends. It's me, Mrs. Tolander again. And if you listen to my read aloud story, we talked a little bit about insects or bugs. And this is something I love so much. I love insects. I love bugs. I have ever since I was a little girl. I just love going out in nature and finding them, learning more about them, and collecting them. So today I'm so happy to be able to share with you my very own bug collection that I've been working on. And these bugs had already passed away, they had already died, and then I put them into my special bug collection case. So I'd be happy to show you my insects today and teach you a little bit more about some of them. So let's take a look. Okay, friends, this is my insect collection. So I have many different insects that I've gotten in different states. They have not all come from Iowa. I have one that's come from Idaho, some that came from Minnesota, I think Missouri. So let's dig in here and take a look and learn a little bit more about insects. First, let's learn the difference between why certain things we call insects and certain things are called spiders. So to be an insect, it has to have a couple different things. Can only have 6 legs. So look at my stag beetle here. Let's count the legs this beetle has. See if he has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6, where a spider would have 8 legs. Another thing is insects have 3 main body parts. They have the head. See the head here? The thorax, that's this middle, oops, I'm losing my focus there. The middle body part. And an abdomen, that's the bigger body part down here. Where spiders only have 2 body parts. They have a head and an abdomen only. So let's see, and I have a light here to kind of help us see some of them a little bit better. I'm going to show you some of my favorites. I mean, I love them all, but here's one that kind of gave me a scare when I caught him. Her, it's actually a female, it's a girl. This is called a Dobson fly. This is the only one I've ever seen. Kind of rare to spot them. They're nocturnal, which means they come out at night. So you maybe have never seen one of them. They're quite large. So if I hold my finger up, let's see, you can see she's as long as my finger. And you see her mandible, her mouth parts up there? Guess what? Those pinch. I know because she pinched me when I tried to catch her. So anyway, it's kind of a fun but painful memory I have of me and my Dobson fly right there. Next, we'll go to my beetles. This beetle right here, you have probably seen buzzing around and heard them at nighttime in the summer. You probably have called them a June bug. It's actually called a May beetle. Kind of see a side view there. Anyway, the May beetle is a beetle you've probably noticed at night. If you have any outside lights on at night, they're usually buzzing around them very loudly. Sometimes they'll crash into your window screen or door screen at night. So that's called a May beetle. Next, speaking of beetles, as you notice, most of the beetles are black or brown in color, but every once in a while you get one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is a 6-spotted tiger beetle. See the 6 spots that are kind of light yellow on their abdomen? The fun thing about these is if something is trying to attack this beetle, guess what it does? It gives off a stinky fluid to try to scare them away. So that's kind of cool. One of my other favorite beetles that my son found for me is our friend the stag beetle. I just think he's so cool because of his mouth parts. And look how he's just so big. Because look, that's a little ladybug, and look how big the stag beetle is compared to a ladybug. I just think that's a really cool one. Next, we have the cicadas. So I have 3 different types of cicadas. Right here, where my light is shining, this is a shell of a cicada. So what cicadas do is they live underground, and they can live there. Some kinds of cicadas live underground for 17 years before they come out. This type that I have lives underground for about 5 years. They are larvae when they're underground. That means kind of like they're little babies. And they eat the sap from tree roots. then when they come out, they'll crawl up a tree. And if you go look at trees this summer, on the bark, you might see one of these shells that looks like this clinging onto the side of a tree. Well, the cicada sits there. All of a sudden, the shell will crack open and out will crawl this cicada. And then they can spread out their wings, let their wings dry. And did you know when a cicada is an adult and comes out from underground, they don't eat anymore. They're done eating. They only eat when they're living underground. So if you ever hear a very, very loud insect that just kind of, the noise seems to go on forever and ever, you're probably hearing a male or a boy cicada making that sound. Let's see. Next, let's go to, well, you've probably seen crickets before, right? This is the kind of cricket we see around Iowa. Look at this one. This guy is huge. This is called a Mormon cricket. Now, this was found by my sister in a state called Idaho. We don't find these in Iowa. So what's interesting about this is look back here on the end of its abdomen. Doesn't that look like a big stinger? Well, it's not. It's called an ovipositor. And so this is a girl, female Mormon cricket. She will use this ovipositor and stick it either into some rotting bark on a tree or into the soil, and she can lay her eggs through it to make more Mormon crickets. So that's just pretty cool. I really like that one. Next, let's go to flies. Now, I don't know about you, but flies are not one of my favorite insects, especially if I find them in my house. I do not like flies in my house. This is more of a normal size fly we're used to, but then you have the big horse flies. I really don't want one of those in my house. But you know what? We often don't really enjoy seeing flies around, but did you know they're helpful? The way they're helpful to us is we always think about how helpful insects like bees and butterflies are because they help pollinate plants and flowers. That means they move pollen from flower to flower, and that helps them make seeds and make more plants and flowers. But did you know flies also pollinate for us? I'm going to name for you some foods, and those foods come from plants that flies help pollinate. So, as I'm naming these, think about whether or not you like to eat these foods. I know I do. Chocolate, apples, pears, plums, strawberries, peaches, berries, carrots, and peppers are all some of the fruits and vegetables that on those plants, flies help pollinate those. So next time you're eating a chocolate bar from Easter or some of those yummy fruits or vegetables I mentioned, you can thank a fly. They maybe helped make that plant from the pollination. Next, let's look at an insect that has some great camouflage. This little green guy here is called a katydid. And if you notice its wing, what does the wing look an awful lot like? I know what I think it looks like. It looks like a big green leaf. And that's called camouflage. This one kind of has it too, you can see it. So if this katydid is sitting really still on a leaf, do you really think that a predator that would want to eat it would even recognize that it was an insect? I don't think so, because it blends right into the leaf it's sitting on. So I think that's pretty cool. And then let's see, we've got dragonflies. You will usually find dragonflies, well, pretty much always find them around water. They love water. And I just love the pretty, you see the blue? The blue on its thorax, its abdomen. I just think those are really pretty. And then also around the water you will find damselflies. And I just think this is such a pretty damselfly. Look at, see the shiny green color on its abdomen. Isn't that neat? And then lastly, we have the praying mantis. I have a larger one and a smaller one. Now these look a little different when they're laying in my case than they would look like when you see them outside. When you see them, let's see if I can find a picture. I have a little bug book here that tells you all about insects. Let me find you a picture. Okay, the way you normally see a mantis outside would look more like this, where their wings are kind of folded up and their arms kind of look bent up like that. And those arms are so quick, they can quickly just snatch up a bug and eat it. And can you see kind of the little See how their legs have the, see that kind of helps them grab those insects with those little spikies. Sorry, I don't know the name for those. But anyway, those are the mantises. So I hope that you have enjoyed my insect collection. I really enjoy it. It's getting to be about the time of year as it gets warmer and warmer that I'm going to be out there on the hunt for more insects. So you do that too when you're spending time outside. A fun place to find some insects like roly-poly bugs, beetles. If you're outside, lift up a rock. A lot of times when you lift up a rock, you can find all sorts of cool insects or worms. And it's fun to just look at them. You could even put them in a little jar or something, observe them for a while, and then let them back, let them free. And so anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Get out in nature and see what kind of bugs you can find. Bye, friends.